Good morning. Hopefully, everybody's having a great week. This is Friday, so today is the light day. A couple of things to note. Um, you still have another day to do your DBQ. We're going to talk about those in just one brief second. For today, I'm going to give you something to kind of get you going for next week. And then let's look at what we're doing next week. Next week, we're writing another DBQ. If anybody wants to take a guess, it is the 2019 one. So today, I'm going to have you do something that hopefully kind of gets you going in that direction. Remember, we want to get really good at these DBQs because that AP test is coming up 2 weeks from today, and it is, you guessed it, a DBQ. So, for today, I'm just going to have you do, we're going to keep it simple. I want to get you to jumpstart a DBQ for next week. Kind of get your mind thinking about the subject for that. And the subject is the progressive era and the progressive movement. So you have two options for today. You can either watch a crash course history in the progressive era, or I have made a video on the progressive era. I believe they're both exactly 15 minutes long. So whatever you choose to do. And then I would like you to fill out this AP US History note sheet that I spent a long time making, so you can record and prove that you've actually watched those videos, or one of those videos. You can do whichever one you like. It's your dealer's choice. So do whatever one you like there. All right, let's talk a little bit about the DBQ. And some of you have submitted your DBQ for this week. And I've read a few of those, not all of them. Just my quick take. I would like to make sure people are watching these videos. I went over a lot of stuff yesterday in the video about what I'd like to see in the DBQs, and the first couple that I read didn't sound like they watched the video. Didn't have like cited where you're going to score points, and didn't really do a fantastic job of explaining how the documents and the evidence connected to your thesis statement. So yeah, so let's kind of go over that again really quickly. Make sure that you are coming up with an argument, first of all. On this particular DBQ, it isn't so much like, did the U.S. go towards a more international movement? They clearly did, and the prompt is telling you they did. They're basically asking you, like, what caused them to move more towards an international movement? So I'd like you to kind of get into that. And kind of the reasons could be from economic to military, want to kind of more of a nationalistic approach, keeping up with the Joneses, that sort of thing. A couple other things I put in your folder that might be helpful. I put in a explanation video. Somebody asked me to create a video explaining the documents if you like to check and make sure you're correct. Not a horrible thing to do. A scoring guideline so you can kind of check. It's kind of the written version of the video almost. And this is one that I think might not be a horrible idea to take a peek. It is example versions of actual students that have written this DBQ. And they give this for every like year. They'll put on examples, and they always put on, the first one's always a really good one that scored all the points. It's a stellar version of a DBQ. The second one's always like, it's pretty okay. Probably got college credit, but it didn't blow anybody away. It was good. And then the third one's always like, that's kind of a lousy one. It's an example of what not to do. So they give you a kind of a good, okay, and a really good example. So it's maybe not the worst idea in the world to take a peek at that. They also have an explanation of where they gave points. So if you scroll past where the written DBQs are, they're going to tell you, like, DBQ number 1, and it scored all 7 points, and this is how they did it. Just a quick note, they've changed a little bit for this year, the scoring. So if you're like, wow, they don't seem like they're doing all the things we're doing, that's true, because they've modified our DBQ to meet the time limits and the fact that this is the only thing on the test, that sort of thing. Okay. The other thing that I would like to kind of extend, I do not have office hours today. However, if people would like to be a part of a Zoom call and go over kind of what they've written, ask questions, I think that's always so much easier than saying, like, I'm stuck on an email and trying to, like, write out, like, how to fix something. So if anybody would like to do that, please email me and we will schedule some sort of Zoom call and we can kind of go over it, like what's going on. Yeah, so I'll try to make myself available. I'm going to probably limit it to business hours, like, about 10 o'clock to 5. But, please feel free. I'm not going to keep you in there for hours if you're worried about, like, oh, he's going to grab a hold of us and never let us go. We'll try to keep it to about 10, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so we can get through, like, what we need to get through. Yeah, so make sure kind of that is the case. I really would like you to focus on like I said, connecting your argument to the evidence. And I feel like the first couple that I watched are still doing like a document drop. Like, this is what this document meant. Good, but it's not going to score a point until you connect it to what your argument is. And if you don't have a thesis that's going to provide an argument, then, it's hard to connect because there's nothing to connect to, and you're not going to score any of the points. So make sure that you're doing that connection. The other thing that I thought of last night is I was kind of curious if anybody's interested. Please, again, shoot me an email if you'd be interested in me creating some sort of a video where it shows me kind of writing the DBQ, and I'll give you pointers of like, hey, this is where I think you could score a point and how you could do it. Maybe some examples of this would be a good one, this would be a bad way to connect that document, because I think some people are struggling a little bit on that, for sure. The last thing I'd like to leave you with is something a little more positive. And I think I said this in the video yesterday. Please, please, please realize that the scoring scale on this is different than what we're used to. So people are used to the idea of, I need a 95 for an A, and if I get anything less, it's disappointing. Okay, you got to kind of get over that. Like, there's 10 points in the DBQ, and people probably aren't going to score all 10. I'd love you to. And I'm trying to push you to score all 10. So if you feel like, hey, he's pretty critical, it's because I want you to go in there with the mindset of I want to score all 10, even though logically speaking, there's a decent chance most of us won't. So I'm trying to push you, but yet, I understand that sometimes getting 6 out of 10 is actually on this pretty decent. So let's make sure that we're kind of getting into that mindset. I think we're making some strides, but I think we definitely have some improving to do. So I know there's a couple people that have kind of sent your DBQ back saying, okay, why don't you start this over again and try it again? That's again, I'm not kind of criticizing. I'm trying to push you to get to be a spot where we can actually get that college credit. Okay. So make sure you're trying as hard as you can. Somebody else had a question. I guess one more thing I'd like to add. Somebody else had a question about 30 minutes. I put myself on clock for 30 minutes. I didn't get through it. Should I keep going? The answer is yes. I want you to, the time is just for you to see, like, how far did I get? But I want you to go back and say, like, I want to make this as good as I can. Like, I want to make sure I do all the things, score all the points, provide all the background that I can. So if that means I'm shooting past that 30 minutes, then by all means, go past that 30 minutes. Okay, so we want to make it good. So if you're the ones that just like, hey, I wrote for 30 minutes, then I turned it in, like, maybe take another minute, go back, do some revising, and then submit it again. That would be a good idea. Because again, we want to get used to doing it the right way, in a good way. Even if it's a little long, we'll work on getting a little quicker on the next one. Okay, so just a review for the day. Go ahead and make sure you watch one of those videos, turn in the note sheet, and again, kind of work on those DBQs. I will be around, and if anybody wants to do an office hour little conference to go over stuff, I am game. So please, please, please take me up on that offer. Other than that, have a great day and have a great weekend if I don't talk to you, and I will see you next week.